Hello YouTube, I am bringing you another model train review. As you can see in the picture, it is a Reading Broadway Limited Pacific number 217. And just to generalize what's in the review, I'll run through the sounds, a few running shots, details, and the price of course, and a few other things. So sit back and enjoy. Okay, so here we are. As you saw in the pictures, I said a little bit about the engine. And to recap, it is a Broadway Limited Pacific Reading number 217. And let's take a closer look at some of the details on this engine. Starting off in the front, we can look closely and we notice that there is no builder's plate right above the pistons. There obviously should be a builder's plate there. I'm not sure why it's not. You can probably... There is a little diamond there. So there is the outline of a builder's plate, which if you're very precise, you can probably just paint like gold, and it will look like a builder's plate from a distance. Even with the camera zoomed in this much, it would still look like a builder's plate, and look exceptional. So the bell does move, and I'll show you that. You can have it up like this, kinda hard to show you, like that, or in just the sill position. The headlight does come on brighter when the engine's in motion, so see, it gets dimmer when it stops. Then we have the funnel stack, smokestack, whatever you like to call it, obviously above the boiler, and the handrails nicely attached to the whole locomotive. Nice big drivers, and the front bogie, I for one don't like the different color. They're actually silver. Let me get a better shot of that. They're silver, whereas the driver and trailing wheels are black. So, excuse me, this is obviously likely not prototypical. I'm highly assuming the real engines didn't have silver bogies in the front. Now we move to the midsection of the engine. In the midsection we have the two domes, sand dome and the other one, I forget, unfortunately, what that one does. Then we have the whistle on this side. If you can kinda see the front of the whistle. We have these three gold things. I'm sorry. There's a few things on this engine that aren't on my others, so I don't know what they are. You probably know, some of you who are watching this. And I'm pretty sure this is the headlight no, not headlight generator, no. Some generator for something on the engine. Only thing I can actually think of is the headlight, which I don't know why it'd be way back here, but there's something back there. Now we move on to the cab. The cab and rear section, I should say, of the engine itself. Now, the engine comes with an engineer and a fireman on the other side, which is nice. You can change them out if you prefer a different looking engineer. I saw online that you just take the cab off and put different figures in the place of the engineer. I will take the engine and separate it from it. Actually, I won't. I must know it is a huge bear to take the tender and disconnect it from the engine. It is terrible. Terribly hard, I should say. So, I will try to get my best shot of the cab interior. There isn't much in there, but I will try to get a good shot of it. And now we'll move on to the firebox, which has some details on the outside. Let me just zoom in a little. Nice rivets on the firebox, and the trailing wheel, like I said, is not silver. Nice detail there. And the steps, if an engineer needed to climb onto the engine's boiler. Now to the tender. Now, there isn't much to say about the tender. Reading, or reading, some say reading, reading. I, for one, go with reading. That's just what I think it is. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below if you can, the spelling. Yeah, but aside from that, the yellow outline all the way around the tender, like on the reading's tenders or reading. The axles look very much like a freight car axle, which most tenders do. They're sometimes a bit different, but these are exceptional. The coal load, I must say, is better than many other engines I've seen. If we take a look at my New Haven 3404, we can see the difference between the two coal loads. Now, on my 3404, the pieces are a lot smaller, which I personally don't really like. I like the readings, the bigger pieces of coal, more prototypical, in my opinion. And there's also a lot more coal in this one. Now, about the same size, so there should be the same amount in each. I may seem getting too technical. These are just my opinions. So you might be alright with this or this. But I think this is a lot better. More texture, which I like the texture of the coal. Now this is plastic. This is plastic, or plaster even maybe. It does feel a bit like plaster. I don't think it is. So let's just move this tender, and let's take a look at the back of this tender. Now there is no headlight in the back. There is the ladder for the fireman to climb up and open this up and load it with water. Now there are three doors, sorry, to load water into. It seems like a lot of doors, so the other two might do something different, because one of these obviously does water. I don't know why they'd have three and want two others doing different things. Let's just zoom in right here for a second. Okay, this is about as close in as I can get without going out of focus. So, 217, nicely painted in white, actually, not yellow. I would expect yellow, but that's okay too. And the capacities on the bottom. I can't really read that. It looks like 10,000 gallons and 18 tons. From what I can see on the camera, that's about what it looks like. I will get a closer look in just a second and tell you what they are. So that's really it for the tender and the engine. Now I'm going to run through the sounds of the engine. Okay, and on the tender that was 10,000 tons and 16 gallons. Now the sounds. Now, as on most engines, 1 is the bell, 2, 3, and we all know that. So let's see what they sound like. Here's the bell. Here's the long whistle, and also the short. 3 actually is something different. Now, like all Broadway Limiteds, it will pick up that you did a crossing sequence and quill a little bit at the end of the sequence, which I like a lot. 3 doesn't do anything. Let me just take a look at my book and see what does do something. Okay, so hold on. Just mute the sound for a second. We have a nice list of all the functions and what buttons do that and all the sounds, which I personally like to have a list. My controller only goes up to 9, so we don't get to hear all the sounds that come with the engine. So, F3 is the coupler slack / couple. Now, which is very cool when you're running, it will pick up the slack. So I'll turn the sound back on, and so we can hear that. Now what you just heard right there, which was the fireman shoveling coal, which I think is very cool to have on an engine. Let's listen to it for a little bit, and then I'll get into the coupler. And then he closed the firebox door. So let's listen to the coupler coupling. Hold on. This doesn't seem to be working. So we'll just move on to function 4, the air pump, and let's see if that works. I think that's the air pump. A lot of these sounds come on automatically. So if you seem to be pushing a button that doesn't make a sound, the sound likely comes on by itself. So let's move on to number 5. When stopped, blow down. And when moving, increase the chuff intensity. So let's listen to the blowdown. And to stop the blowdown, just push number 6. Number 6 is actually the water fill, so you get to hear that. A lot of sounds on this engine, and it's not quiet either, which is nice if you're at like a show, so people can hear the sounds of the engine. I must point out a note, if you don't know this already, but Broadway Limited built this engine differently than all their others, and they couldn't fit smoke units in it, so the Pacifics, light and heavy, do not smoke. Now, function 7, smoke on / off, parentheses, if equipped. F8 is volume mute, and F9 startup / engine shutdown. Now, if you have a controller that goes up to 28, these are what you can do. F10 is the coal shovel auger, and no, I can't do these, I only have up to 9. F11 is the water injectors. F12, the brake set / brake release. When moving, brake squeal. F13, grade crossing horn. F14, passenger announcements, which I have heard videos of and are very nice. F15, freight announcements, so possibly like a freight yard or something, I'm not sure. F16, maintenance sounds. F17, radio sounds. And these next few sound very interesting. F18, city background sounds. So possibly like buses going by the station, people talking, station announcements maybe. F19, farm background sounds. So animals, cows, things like that probably. F20, industrial background sounds. So things hammering, things being made, workers talking maybe. F21, lumber background sounds. So probably a lot of saws and trees falling down. F22, this is probably the most handy for most people. Instead of programming it and going into all the CVs to change the horn, F22, toggle to second horn. Oh no, actually, I'm sorry. That's actually something different. It's not to reprogram it. I'm sorry about that. if you're familiar with the Daylight 4449 Southern Pacific, that engine has a whistle and an air horn. So if you buy the Daylight, F22 switches it from the air horn to the whistle, or to the air horn from the whistle, either or. So you can switch. F23, the Mars light on/off. Some diesels have this, the 4449 has it. It's like a little 8, a little headlight going in like a figure 8. 24 and 25 do nothing. F26, play recorded Marco. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe you can do your own station announcements, I'm not sure. F27, record, start, stop. Again, probably recording something of your own. And F28, the brake squeal. So those are all the sounds. Here's just an overview. So lots of nice sounds. Unfortunately, a lot I can't do. However, at the club, I know the club's controllers go up to 23 at least. So I'll get above the pencil. So I'll get all this at the club. At my house, I only get above the pencil. So not too much, but still nice. I'm gonna wrap up the review with one last run view of the sounds, cause the background sound kinda got in the way. And then some running shots. So here's another run through the sounds. F1, the bell. F2. The whistle/horn. F3, the coupler, coupling and slack. F4, the air pump. F5, the blowdown. F6, to stop the blowdown. 7, water fill, I think. 8 to mute the sound, and 9 to start or stop the engine, likely for diesels, better heard. Now some running shots. And there's the coupler. Now, these couplers I have to hook manually, so 1 second, please. And the speaker is in the tender. Now just some details about the engine and what it comes with. It comes with a 2-year warranty, very good, just in case anything happens. The registration for the warranty is online. Here's the slip it comes with. So register online for maximum time on your model railroad. www.broadway-limited.com/BLI ProCare. 2 years, and the hobby's best service support program, so that's good to know. 2-year model protection plan, easy online sign up. Register now, visit, blah blah blah. And that's the warranty. Now it comes with a blueprint, like most engines do. Let me just open it up. And on one side the engine, so you have all the things that you can take apart, change, and on the other side the tender. A lot more parts to the tender, little parts. So it comes with a warranty and a blueprint. And last but not least, the operator's manual. Paragon 2 Steam Locomotive's operator's manual. You'll get this even if you don't get the Pacific. As long as it's a steam engine, you will get this. Important notice, this product is not recommended for children under 14 years of age. And the date for something. So lots in this book, lots of handy features. You have your CV menu, so you know what CV is to adjust. DCC operation, and how to program it. If there's a certain, like I have digit tracks for my operating system. There is a certain one that will not let you do it the regular way, and it gets in depth on page, I think 23. Here's the sound list. The in-depth about the sounds. Bell F1. Pressing F1 turns on the bell. Most controllers allow the bell to stay on until F1 is pressed a second time. Lower CV 180 to speed up the bell. Just getting into depth about all the sounds. If you want to read it, just slow down the video if you can. So yeah, and then it goes all the way to probably the last sound. On this page we have more sounds and another CV menu. This just tells you which button is which. So like the headlight is CV33, the bell is CV34. So handy to have that. DCC easy consist. So using 2 engines at once. And that's apparently easier for Broadway Limiteds. Lots of stuff to read on the last few pages. Just a big list of stuff. Articulated engines. The chuff sounds on Paragon 2. Articulated engines are designed to sound like the chuff of a real articulated engine. So apparently they sound different than non-articulated. Now, if you are using that Lens Digital Plus system, this is how you program an engine. It's apparently a bit different, so if you have that type of operating system, you may want to look at this section of the video and read through so you just get how to program your engine. It's a bit different, like I said. So here it is. Pause it if you need to, and if an error occurs, you will get a message like error 02. So that's press escape and quickly re-enter the address. That's just more programming on Lens system. And more details about it. And then notes, you can write your own notes. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed the review. I paid $200 for it. Now the MSRP is $300. I highly recommend doing what I did. I went to eBay and found it $100 cheaper. Brand new. Now last but not least, I forgot this. I read that the engine sounds different when it's running light than when it's pulling cars. Apparently, the engine has a way of realizing there's cars behind it, and will start chuffing more intensely. So if you notice a difference in sound, or don't, I should say, just let me know. And yeah, here it is. It does not sound as intense as before, I must point that out. It sounds a bit quieter. Alright, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more rail fanning videos.